this episode is
know,
like
I
one
know.
of my favorites. And I also have it on good authority that our best friend Bill Hader also loves this episode.
Really?
I think he talked about it when he was surprised by Keith Morrison or whatever.
Yeah.
I think he's like, oh, that's the one with the woman in the car. So I think he's a fan of this one too.
Hey, I'm going to surprise you with something right now.
What?
Instead of our regular song, you know what I'm going to sing?
What?
Queen of the county, queen of the county.
Everyone at home, are you doing your shoulder moves? Excellent. That's a real shimmy.
Oh, hi, Julian Pensavalle.
Hi, Patrick Hines.
Oh, my goodness. It's so nice to see you.
It's nice to see you. How are things?
Things are good.
Great.
You know, I would like to tell the people that if they would like more of you and me, they can join us on the Patreon. I got to tell them some stuff coming up.
Okay, sure.
Starting in January, we're going to start doing like drag bingo sometimes.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to do a cocktail class because I used to be a bartender.
Yes.
So anybody at the paid at the 5 or above is going to have like access to all. We're going to do like really fun, extra added bonus things like that.
I thought you were going to say extracurricular activities, which kind of is also accurate.
But also that's where you can find over 450 full ad-free bonus episodes.
Liar.
You know what I mean?
I don't believe you.
It's crazy.
Is that right?
Ad-free versions of these episodes, you know.
Okay.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Fam, I wrote a book. If you're thinking
What?
I know. If you're looking for a Christmas present for somebody, it's called Failure is Not an Option.
Sure.
It's my 12 like funniest stories of like ridiculous mess ups I've made in my life and the lessons I learned, right?
Yeah.
And you can get it anywhere. I also did the audiobook and people seem to like it. So
that's nice.
if you want to get, something for Christmas.
'Tis the season, everyone.
What are we talking about today, girl?
All right, so this is our bonus episode
Yeah.
that we do, our bonus episode.
Yeah.
Right? It's the 9th one of it, but it's called The Sting. So it's the Dateline episode, season 25, episode 13. It's a very, very famous episode. And this is like their most updated version of the story.
Oh
so,
my God.
Dateline does like 5 stories on each
It's
thing. Yeah.
wild.
Is she the villain? Is she the victim? Who knows? That is what makes her riveting.
Tonight, a new twist in the case no one could quite believe.
Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, man. He's been killed.
The story that's more far-fetched than fiction.
Her screaming and wailing. It was unreal.
Did this young wife hatch a devious murder plot?
Already. I'm positive, like 5,000% sure.
Or was it all for show?
We had a police department that broke all the rules.
Now, a whole new ending to this true crime cliffhanger.
Oh my God.
The evidence that supports me is conveniently missing.
So we're in Palm Beach, Florida, the winter wonderland of the wealthy.
Well, Dennis Murphy is our host. Dennis Murphy is obsessed with Palm Beach, Florida.
Can I just say, all of these different, like Andrea Canning, Joshy Manx, Keith Morrison, they are all very different. They all have their own personalities.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great.
So we have Dennis Murphy, our host. Dalia Dippolito is our villain, question mark?
Dalia Dippolito.
We're not sure just yet.
You can't make these names up.
Dennis Murphy's using every big SAT word in this, but we're in Palm Beach, Florida, where conspicuous consumption and the envy index are as high as the humidity. Dennis?
They keep talking about this. We actually took a vacation to Palm Beach, Steve and I did last year.
And it was a nightmare because didn't the ceiling cave in?
No. That was somewhere. Wait, where did that happen?
It was raining the entire. You had like 2 days of sunshine, but you went for like a weekend and it rained the entire time.
It rained the entire
and I was like,
time.
Tell me what's wrong with that.
We didn't leave
what's
our
the problem?
hotel room. Palm Beach seems like a really nice place.
Well, because we get Jan Tuckwood, a journalist, who also is talking about how amazing Palm Beach is.
I know,
and I'm
she
sure
loves
it's
it.
lovely. But they're talking about how like most people on the mainland, quote, are so influenced by the richness. And I'm like, I don't, everyone wants to be as rich as everyone in Palm Beach if Dennis Murphy and Jan Tuckwood are to be believed.
What are these names I cannot handle?
And they're really selling it.
They really are. I mean, honestly, like it looks like a really nice place to
Bravo,
live.
give them a Selling Palm Beach show if it doesn't exist already. These two love Palm Beach.
They really do. So these are the newlyweds.
Over the bridge, past the interstate, newlyweds Dalia and Mike Dippolito lived in a $250,000 condo in high and dry Boynton Beach. Not exactly the same zip code as Palm Beach, but perfectly fine for 2 up-and-comers.
It'll do.
Perfectly fine for two up-and-comers.
Well, they were young. They were in love. They were
Yes.
both ambitious. They were rich and wanted to be richer. I mean, Dalia had a $20,000 engagement ring. She's doing okay.
And he's got a Porsche in the garage. Like, that's a lot. Like, those are, like, why?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I feel like a Porsche isn't a car you get when you want to get around.
Right? It's
A
not your,
Porsche
like,
is to be able to say, like, check out the Porsche in the garage. Or you drive, like, down the main street in Palm Beach to drive to, like, the Birdcage, to drive to the fancy restaurant.
Of course, like the fancy gay bar.
And just to, like, CNBC and get mad at the valet when they fuck it up.
It's so weird, those, like, crazy, like, because a Porsche is meant to go fast, but aren't we all on the same highways?
Do you know about Porsche?
I don't know. It's not, no, to be fair, I don't know a lot about cars, but isn't that why you buy cars? Like, fancy, expensive cars, like, you only get them because they go fast. But then we're all on the same...
Or they, like, drive nice. Ooh, this drives real nice. That seems like a thing
I got a
say.
Jetta, and it drives just fine.
Does it? Okay, great. Does it get you from A to B?
From A to B.
Yes, perfect.
Totally.
Do you have a body? Great, you have a beach body. That's kind of how I feel. Does the car get you where you need to go? Amazing.
Well, we learned that their story was love at first sight.
Well, that's the G-rated way that Dennis wants. It's like, Dennis, we're all adults here. This is Dateline.
We're going to get the adult version down the road.
Well, Mike is an internet entrepreneur and Dalia is a businesswoman, but I'm like, right, but what do they do?
Right.
Like, what do they do?
Because we're going to learn later that Mike is on probation, but we don't really know what for.
And we eventually learn that Dalia is in real estate.
Yes.
They tell us that down the line, but I'll tell you.
But they say that
3 months after their first meeting, marriage was inevitable. There was a teensy problem in their paradise. Mike Dippolito was married. Lawyers Jason Brody and Josh Friedman arranged a quickie divorce so the ballad of Mike and Dalia could begin.
Mike was already married?
Yeah, and we meet these attorneys, and they say these attorneys
Jason
arranged...
and Josh. Jason and Josh. Bros, Jason and Josh. Attorneys at law.
You know that they like live in a rented condo where they sleep on air mattresses.
It's a Mojo Dojo Casa House.
What is that?
The Barbie movie?
Oh, sorry. Oh, God. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
What do you think they say when the cars show up to take their
They
place?
say, Cabs, yep. Jason Brody and Josh Friedman, I'm sure they're lovely. But Jason and Josh, like the dynamic duo.
Totally.
It's fun to say.
100%. Sometimes they fall asleep holding each other. They wake up and it's a little awkward.
We're all friends here.
But they say they arrange a quickie divorce so Mike and Dalia could move ahead. Like, he just dropped...
So the ballad of Mike and Dalia can begin.
Oh, God.
Okay?
The ballad of Mike and Dalia.
It is an opera. It is like a Greek tragedy.
It really is. Well, they say Mike and Dalia quickly marry. They soon fall into comfortable routines, which include like morning workouts at the gym. These are the quintessential 6 a.m. gym couple.
Yeah. They were super hot for each other.
Yeah.
Gym dates, dinner dates, staycations at fancy hotels,
Love
notes
notes
on the fridge, just the works. Also, what did his ex-wife have? I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm thinking about the ex-wife in this moment. I feel sad for her.
Yeah, obviously we know nothing about what their relationship was like, but it seems like this was a very whirlwind romance.
Well, you know what? Mike gets his.
I mean, well, okay.
The ex-wife, I could just see her watching this episode being like, oh, shit.
Come on.
I got out just in time.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
3 months into this whirlwind marriage, Dalia gets pregnant. But, like, everything's amazing, right?
And, like, they love it. They're so excited. They can't wait to have a family.
Until August 2009.
Yeah.
Dalia is at her 6 a.m. workout.
Yep.
The cops call her. Sergeant Frank Ramsey. I'm concerned. I am just curious how a Florida cop is also from Brooklyn. I guess he is from Brooklyn and then moved to Florida. Problem
He's a
solved.
transplant.
I solved it. But Frank Ramsey calls her and he tells her it's very urgent. Involves your husband. There's been an accident. You got to get home. Put down the weights. We need you in Palm Beach. I'm also like, is this how cops really inform people of tragedy?
Well, so then she gets back to her house because she's been told that there's like a tragedy involving her husband. And not only do the cops meet her there, but so does the crew for the television show Cops.
They just happen to be there filming.
I don't know about that. Like, I really don't know about this.
At first, I was like, okay.
Hang on a second. Because there's cameras everywhere, and they tell her on camera.
Listen, we had a report of a disturbance at your house.
The officer was direct with Dalia. He said there'd been an intruder in the house, and several shots were fired.
Is your husband, Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, man. He's been killed. He's been killed, man. I'm sorry. Listen, please, I can't let you in now.
Dalia, like a switch went off.
Yes.
Instantly hysterical.
Yeah.
Hyperventilating, screaming, sobbing. She can't even, she is completely
but then
hysterical.
It doesn't make any, like, right away, they got to take her downtown and get her statement. They got to know what she knows. They got to know who his enemies are. Like this woman just learned that her husband was brutally murdered. Right. They don't even let her call her family.
Right.
They got her in the cruiser.
And she's exactly. They just take the thing out and put it on the top.
Fam, if you hear me being a little bit flippant, it's because things are going to happen here.
Dalia sucks. Sorry. So they get her down to the station. They're asking her these questions.
Yeah.
And in my notes, I just go, oh boy, here we go.
Oh boy.
So here's what she says about Mike. Mike was trying to get off probation.
Yeah.
He's been nothing but problems the whole time. Here's what we learned about Mike. Mike is a convicted felon.
Yeah.
He's a swindler.
Swindled thousands, like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
From, quote, gullible investors. He sold fake currency securities, which sounds like a big fucking deal.
You know what, though? You know what that actually sounds like? It sounds like he's scamming old ladies. Honestly, like, that's just occurring to me because those are the
like
kinds
Jen
of...
Shah?
Or like my mother. Oh my God, did you just call Jen Shah an old lady?
No, wasn't Jen Shah doing those scams?
For just a second,
scams?
I was about to get under the desk. I did not know what was going to happen.
What is she going to do to me from prison? Hi,
Jen. Is Jen Shah in prison right now?
Yes.
The quickest way to jail is through the Housewives set.
Like,
you know what I mean?
And being a dick.
Right.
She was scamming vulnerable people anyway.
I know. But like selling phony currency securities, it's the kind of thing that me and old ladies fall for.
Oh, yeah.
You could sell one to me right now, I would buy it.
I don't know how to. I don't know exactly what it is. Even.
That's the whole point. You just make it up.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
The point is, Mike had a lot of enemies,
yes.
is what she's trying to say.
When he was released from prison after 7 months, he was still looking at more than 25 years of probation. He'd been ordered to make restitution to the victims he'd fleeced, an outstanding IOU of $191,000.
People weren't happy that he was getting off probation because it's a lot of money he's got to pay back.
Find out who he owed, suggested Dalia, and you'll find the killer.
So after Dalia tells the cops all this, they ask, any problems in the marriage? She's like, money problems? Nope. Emotional troubles? Nope.
Absolutely
Did
not.
all of our families get along? Absolutely. Everything is
effing
puppies
like bunnies
and rainbows. However, she also just said it's been a problem since the beginning, and he's a guy with a lot of enemies, and he owes $200,000.
And all I'm thinking is, like, Dalia, did you want to call a friend? Like, your husband just got murdered. Like, you're being interrogated. She literally says, find out who he owes, and you'll find the killer.
She's also not hysterical anymore.
Exactly.
This was a big shock to her 20 minutes ago outside, and now it's like, oh, I've been waiting for this day to come.
Right.
So
But then they say, but the cops are toying with her because they think they know so much more about the newlyweds. Did they ever?
So now it's, let's rewind,
wind.
A few days earlier, a guy walks into a police station and says, my married girlfriend shopping for a hitman. It's not a joke, everyone. But
that's
literally,
really true.
A guy walked into a police station and says, my married girlfriend is shopping for a hitman. I feel like this is something maybe the police would like to know about.
We meet Detective Alex Moreno, and he goes, we didn't know what to think.
This is insane.
This is insane.
So this guy's named Mohammed. He's a part-time actor, part-time convenience store worker.
And by actor, they literally tell us later he's like a background actor. Like, that's what he does.
Do you know you can make one hell of a career doing background?
I was just helping somebody with this, and I feel like I learned that it was like $188 a day, just the baseline. If you're there late, it's like double pay.
For like a SAG day rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Fran Drescher.
Right? So here's what Mohammed says, right? He and Dalia have been hooking up for years. They're friends with benefits.
They'd met for the occasional casual sex. Then she asked him for help in finding a hitman to kill her husband.
He says, you know what? Yeah, I'm sleeping with this guy's wife, but at the same time, I didn't want this guy to be killed. And that was his concern. He couldn't sleep with that whole idea that this guy was going to get killed.
Does he know her last name? Nope.
No.
Does he know where she lives?
Absolutely not.
Does she know the name of his husband?
No.
But he's here to save his life.
Right. So Dalia, they've been hooking up for a while, and eventually she's like, hey, Mohammed.
Yep.
Can you help me find a hitman? I really want to kill my husband.
I gotta kill my husband.
So the boyfriend's like, yes.
Shoot.
And then just runs to the cops.
Now, I gotta say, we learned that, like, she also has other boyfriends she's trying to do this with later.
Right.
Like, thank God Muhammad is the one that she asked. Mike owes Muhammad his life.
But it wasn't that easy of a decision, because as Muhammad tells the cops, I hate to give up the sex. But I also don't want someone to die.
Look,
like, he really,
you know
cue
what?
the Jeopardy music. He really thought about it.
He's just being honest. He made the right choice. Let's give him some credit.
Absolutely. But for a minute, he was like,
I don't know.
You know what? I don't want to give up the sex. But then someone will die, so I don't really.
Look, Muhammad, even if he thought about it for a couple of minutes, he made the right call.
He made the right choice.
Muhammad, you did a good job.
But the cops are like, girl, what? And Muhammad's like, after all of the turmoil I've gone through deciding if I should do this, you don't believe me? Because Muhammad, again, doesn't know her last name or where she lived or who her husband was exactly, just that she wanted him dead, but they've been fucking for a couple of years.
For years, and he never got her last name. Well, the cops are like, this is wild. We don't know what's going on. Muhammad, we're gonna enlist you as a confidential informant. Dude, and Muhammad is totally up for it. If I'm Muhammad, I'm like, you don't have to fucking believe me. I could go back to the sex if that's what you want, but this guy's gonna die.
Believe me, it's all I want to do.
Totally.
So the detectives took it to the next level. They enlisted Mohammed as a confidential informant and gave him a story to tell his part-time lover, that he'd found her a hitman who could pull off the job. Mohammed, the tipster, set up an assignation with the woman for the very next day. The car that he drove to the gas station meeting point had been rigged by police technicians for pictures and sound.
So Muhammad now has to act like, hey, Dalia, like, my queen, like, I found you the hitman, right?
Totally.
So he has to, like, set up this meeting to be like, I got the hitman, like, say incriminating things now.
But they wire the car with cameras and audio. And, like, I don't understand how Dalia can't see them, because it looks like they must be fucking, it feels like there's a film crew in the backseat.
And the camera is coming from behind, but it's almost as if someone is in her face. Like, it's really amazing job with the AV department on this one.
No question why this is a fan favorite Dateline. This is wild.
It's wild. So they're filming and watching in real time, right?
Right.
So now, just for a little bit of a note, like, this all happened a few days ago, like just a few days before the cops tell her that her husband has been killed, and also the show Cops is there, weirdly enough.
No, we'll get back to that. The show Cops just happens to be on scene for the craziest moment in cop history. We'll see.
They say that it really was just
I know, but like, I don't know. We'll get there.
So they're in the car 2 minutes, and Dalia's bringing up the hitman. Yeah. And now Dennis Murphy goes, unprompted, it's not like he's doing dental work to get the story out of her. And I'm like, do you mean pulling teeth? And it reminded me of, because we're in South Florida, of the birdcage, where he's like, I'm sweating like some sort of farm animal. Like, Dennis, just say he didn't have to, like, pull teeth. He didn't have to do any dental work on Dalia to get her to admit to the hitman. Dennis, what are you paid by the word?
I know that in your mind, the birdcage is on a constant loop. Do you know what's been on a constant loop in my mind since we started?
What?
Miami, you got style. Blue screens, white skies, white tan by the mile. Miami is nice.
That's Rose and
so
Dorothy,
I'll say it thrice. Miami is.
I love Blanche. Girls on cue. Girls.
Oh my God.
Dalia is so mean to Muhammad.
Yeah.
She's like,
I got 1,200. He's asking for 1,200. When are you going to give him the money?
Today, he's going to buy a store.
I brought the $1,200. When are you going to give him the money and shit? Like,
I know.
she is so annoyed that her husband's not dead yet. And she's so annoyed that Muhammad's dragging his fucking feet and it hasn't happened. Like,
and this is the guy that she's been like having a sexual relationship for years. Like, Muhammad's like, whoa.
Right. And so Muhammad, I guess, like, the cops helped him with the script, but it's $1,200.
Yes.
And she has the money. She's like leaning over to get it from her bag. And Muhammad's like just asking her over and over again, like, is it worth it to you? Like, are you sure you want to do this? And Dalia, who is so mean,
I know,
is like, you don't fucking get it. It's not even about the fucking money. Like,
we'll go through that money in an afternoon.
Meaning, she just wants him dead.
And because we'll learn later she tricked him into giving her his house.
Yes.
So she definitely wants the house. We'll get there.
So, but she's all business. She's really mean. And she just cannot wait for this transaction to be done.
So Muhammad's got to set up a second meeting with Dalia. This time it's with the hitman, who, of course, is an undercover cop.
Because she hands over, like, photos. So, like, right now it's just her and Muhammad. She's giving Muhammad photos to give to the hitman, all the details he needs, cash to buy the gun. So, like, she keeps asking, is this solid? Is this real? Are we going to do it? And so after this meeting, they're like, all right, Muhammad, like, step one is done. But now you have to, like, meet with the quote, hitman, who's actually an undercover cop.
So they meet, like, the next day. It's the same situation. It's like it's a car in a parking, like in a CVS parking lot.
Wired for audio and video. We're seeing the whole thing.
She gets in and sits down, and like the guy, the first thing he says to her is like, "Oh, you look good."
So the quote hitman, who's an undercover cop, is being super sleazy.
Yes.
And she's like, "Thank you."
I know.
Dalia. Dalia. Thank you. Oh my God, really? Just anyway, are you going to kill him?
I know.
Like, literally.
I know.
So she tells the hitman, she's like, stop hitting on me. Like,
please.
Like, maybe we can fuck later, but like, kill my husband first. Please. God, I'm so annoyed that he's alive. Says Dalia.
Right.
I mean, right?
I know. She is so mad.
She is like,
she wants it done yesterday.
Perturbed is an understatement. So she tells the hitman where they live, all the details he needs, again, to kill her husband, their address, his schedule, where he goes.
And he keeps saying, like, are you sure you want this? And she's like,
already, I'm positive, like 5,000% sure.
The pretend hitman told her he'd use a gun, give him a tap-tap.
He gets 2 in the head. That's it, you know.
Our undercover agent tells her, hey, I'm going to put 2 in his head, meaning 2 shots to the head, and doesn't even face her. No remorse.
Because they want her to just dig this hole deeper, they just keep telling her more and more details for her to agree to on video and audio.
Yeah.
So the hitman's like, so I'm going to shoot him twice in the head. Is that cool? And she's like, absolutely.
I mean,
3 times?
It doesn't
5
faze
times?
her. Like, she has no feelings for this person whatsoever.
No.
Or like for any person.
No, exactly.
Like, can you imagine
She's dead.
You're watching that and she like this woman just agreeing to your murder? Like,
it is the coldness and the darkness.
He thinks that they're having a family. Like, he thinks that they're having a baby together.
Right, she's pregnant, remember?
Right.
So the plan is Dalia goes to the gym nice and early. The hitman's like, you got to be up by 6. I'm an early riser. Like, please. I want to be done by
I gotta get
8.
early in the day.
I want the Grand Slam breakfast down the street, please.
Totally.
Okay? So she's like, okay, cool. So the plan is she's going to be at the gym by 6. When she comes home, he'll be dead.
Yeah.
This is like Christmas morning times a million for Dalia. She's never been so happy to be at the gym by 6 a.m.
I know.
She can't wait. She can't wait. So now we're back at the beginning.
Paolo, the teacher of the 6 a.m. Zumba class, was like, girl,
you can't wait. It's like 5:30. She's like, come on.
South Beach Paolo.
Stupid birds chirping. Like, hurry up. Now we're back at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
She's at the gym. The cops call, oh no, something bad happened.
Yeah.
She comes home. Again, the show Cops just happens to be there as well. And this is where she turns on the theatrics.
And like somebody says,
if you look at that video, she begins to react before she's even told the whole story. According to that sergeant who was actually making contact with her, he didn't see any tears.
There are no tears.
There's no tears. I'm going to give her a pass for, like, you know why the cop is there and they're not letting you in the house and it's surrounded with caution tape. Like, you know what he's about to tell you.
She's also not asking any questions.
That's true.
She's just hysterical.
Yeah.
She's just like being really loud.
Not asking to talk to anybody, not asking to call it. Like that.
Not asking what the accident is.
Exactly.
All they say is something bad happened, there's been an accident, your
And he's
husband
dead.
died. And she goes into it's crazy.
Oh my God, was it my hitman?
Yeah, she basically she might as well have said that. So again, now she's being questioned and it's night and day. She's not even asking what happened. She's just very calm.
Yeah.
I was like, is this the same person?
Yeah.
And all she's doing is talking shit about Mike.
Yeah, and then they bring in the fake hitman who's like an undercover cop, but they bring him in pretending that he's like the hitman.
Because remember, the cops know everything she was planning.
Exactly.
So they're waiting for her to confess.
Yeah.
And they bring in the hit, and the cops are all like, bad cop, bad cop. They're like, bring him in here. Like, he's in handcuffs.
You look at her when she talks to you.
They're like, put your head up so she can see her face, you scum. And they're like, is that good? Like, under the table, they're like,
totally. This is going to be on Dateline someday, I think.
Did you guys rehearse? Can we just rehearse one more time?
Can we just go through it?
And we can mark this time. I just want it in my mouth. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you come in, right? You stand there, and then I'll be like, you scum, right? Is that too? Okay, is that good?
I thought we were marking. No, we're doing it full
No.
out.
It's easier for me to get into the character.
What? If we could take it again, hashtag full out this time.
Yeah, please.
It really just...
Chuck, it really helps if we just commit. We got one chance to do it, and it's going to be on Dateline. I really need everyone to step up.
What the fuck is Chuck's problem this morning? He's been in a mood ever since he did not get the lead in Bye Bye Birdie.
It's because he likes marking.
That's
how he does things in the old precinct. But this is South Beach.
No, I know.
So
we got to full out.
Chuck, 5s. He's coming. Ready? Wait.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any tea?
Throat coat, specifically throat coat.
No, they're bringing her in. No, we don't have time for tea. Okay, everyone. Sad faces and... That was good.
That was a good one.
So they're being all mean. And Dalia's like, I've never seen him before, like, ever.
I know.
And she's like, do you want to meet up later?
I know. But then he's even saying, like, no, I don't know her either. Like, oh my God.
But as Dalia says that, I just thought of, like, liar, like Legally Blonde throwing chocolate. She's like, I've never seen him before ever, you guys.
Yeah.
Like, not once,
But,
not
like,
ever.
imagine she's looking at the man who just fucking killed her husband.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
And she's doubling and tripling down. Like she's not confessing. So the cops eventually are like,
that's an undercover police officer. We filmed everything that you did, recorded everything that you did. You're going to jail for solicitation of first-degree murder of your husband.
I didn't do anything.
Did you hear what I just told you?
I heard what you said, but I didn't
Everything, listen to me. Everything has been recorded.
You're going to go to jail, girl, because you were trying to hire someone to kill your husband, and we know all about it.
This is important because they say to her, you're going to jail for solicitation of first-degree murder of your husband. Not, like, they're saying you're going to jail for hiring somebody to do it, not for, like, it having been carried out.
Right,
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And she's not, her mind is spinning.
Right.
She's not even, that's not registering.
It was so funny because she was giving me, like, Casey Anthony vibes. Like, the way that you can see her trying to make up the story in real time.
Papini.
Oh, my God, yes.
Major Sherry Papini, right? So she just keeps swearing up and down that she didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. And eventually they're like, right, but shut up and listen to me.
Yeah.
We have it. This is undeniable. Like these are facts. We have you on video. We have it all, girl. Like you can't talk your way out of this one.
But now we get Michael's story.
Well, because what happens is the cops aren't finished with Dalia yet, right? Because they have another surprise. And according to Dennis Murphy, it's a humdinger. And the big reveal is that Mike is here being interviewed on Dateline. He is alive and well.
He's alive and well. Everything is fine with Mike, except for the fact that his wife, who he loved, who he thought was carrying his child,
is that, like, everything's fine, but it almost wasn't fine.
Yeah. And she, like he was in love with her and she tried to kill him.
Because he explains, I thought everything was great. Like, we were having a baby, and then the cops show up at, like, 5 in the morning.
Which we see, by the way, because they've been staked out all morning there with the fucking the crew from the show Cops.
Right.
We see them bang, like, she goes to the gym.
She goes to the gym.
We see them banging on the door.
She doesn't notice anybody.
No, I know.
And then the cops are like,
bang. Michael!
Yeah,
Michael!
Get the fuck out of here!
Michael!
So, like, can you imagine?
I know.
And you know what, Dennis Murphy? That really is a humdinger.
It really
is a humdinger.
You kind of nailed it, Dennis Murphy.
It's a humdinger.
For sure.
Sorry, I'm Sergeant Sheridan, Des Moines Police Department. Can I talk to you?
Yes, for sure. We say, hey, listen, this is what we're doing. We've been conducting an investigation.
He says, your wife is going to have you killed today. You have to come with us.
So Mike has to leave before she gets back from the gym, right? Because they have to stage this murder scene.
He answers the door naked. They give him like 10 seconds to go get some clothes on.
He's like, are you sure? I work really hard for this. I wonder what, if they have gym dates, I wonder how she got out of going to the gym with him.
Oh, right.
I wonder if she's like, no, babe, leg day.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, shit, arms for me, sweetie. I got it, or whatever.
Paolo doesn't like it when I bring you to Zumba.
I just wonder how she got out of that. She's
That's a good question.
Left and right, this one.
Oh, my God.
So this is where we learn the show Cops, according to the law enforcement, Cops was actually there. Like, that. This is a complete coincidence. Cops just happens to be.
And I do think that we learned that this, like, police precinct does love publicity. You know, but like it is, I don't know. I think it's a wild coincidence that Cops, the TV show, was there filming, like, without a doubt, the most fucking dramatic situation you can imagine.
Yeah.
You couldn't write this, except Dalia did.
Right, except she did. But like, I think it's pretty stupid to invite the show Cops when you know that everything that's happening is a lie.
Right.
So publicity, why does a police precinct need publicity to begin with? Like, it's so stupid, but if that's what you want, do it after the fact. To like tip off Cops like you're fucking Lindsay Lohan telling the paparazzi that you're going to Dunkin' Donuts or whatever. Like, I just don't.
Cut to me tomorrow morning. Yes, it's author Patrick Hines. I wrote a book.
They're like,
I'm going to be at the Dunkin' Donuts on 9th and 38th in about 8 minutes.
And they're like, great, girl. Good for you.
Are you on a coffee run for
Yeah,
us?
like, can you pick us up something? But apparently, we'll get back to Cops being at this, like, the show Cops, because it makes things a little murky. So they let him watch Dalia lie to the cops.
Oh my, because we're back at the police station now.
Which is insane. So here's what has happened. They tell Dalia, oh no, something bad happened. She's hysterically crying. By the time she gets to the police station, she's very calm, talking shit about her husband. They have the hitman. They present the hitman, who's really an undercover cop. She denies everything left and right. So now, because she's not admitting to everything, when they have it all on two
tape.
Separate occasions, the humdinger of all humdingers, they walk Mike into the interrogation room.
I'm trying to figure out at this point if she's put it together. Does she know if he's a fake hitman, then Mike obviously isn't dead?
Like, how do the cops, or what happened? And he also is not bloody. He looks fine.
Right.
He looks totally fine. And she just says about 100 times,
oh my God.
She's alive.
Come here, please. Come here.
Can't fix it.
Why not? I didn't do anything heard you. Mike, come here, please. Come here.
And that's when she says, come here, I love you. And I told her, I said, look, I can't. I said, you can't fix this.
She's handcuffed, and we also don't see Mike. We just hear him. He's like, I can't fix this for you.
He also dumps her on the spot.
On the spot.
Obviously.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Yes. Yes. She's like, get over here. And he was like, no, also divorce.
Bye.
So, all right. So what's the real story?
Yes.
As Mike says, well, I didn't meet her in church. Whoa.
Now they sit Mike down for his police interrogation, and he says she was actually an escort who came to my office one day?
On his lunch break. So he ordered her, his words, her up from an escort service, fine, but came to my office like for lunch, and I'm like, so just a little afternoon delight?
So he hired a sex worker to come to his office for sex in the middle of the afternoon?
Yes.
Okay.
Afternoon delight.
I'm just want to make sure I'm following the chain of events.
Sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, the attraction was really, really there. I mean, he left his wife for her.
Mike, no, it wasn't, sweetheart. She was using you.
Lust.
I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
She's a very good manipulator.
She saw you and you were an easy mark, and like that's all this was.
And also, you were cheating on your wife anyway.
Exactly.
Like if you're ordering sex workers on your lunch break at work, you were cheating on your wife. So this whole it was love at first sight, and there were the birds and the rainbows and the puppies. Like no. You were kind of looking for an out of that other relationship. Anyway, you weren't happy.
3 months after they met, Michael divorced his first wife and married Dalia that same week.
I had just purchased a home, and we're going to start a life together. And we talked about traveling and doing things, and we had like a future planned.
But there was a hitch to Michael's future. The terms of his probation prevented him from leaving South Florida.
Mike really did get into all that trouble.
Yes.
He really did owe all that money.
Yes.
He really was on probation. He can't leave Florida.
Yeah, his probation, he's out of prison, but he can't leave South Florida until he pays back that $191,000.
Because his lawyer made him a deal. If you pay what you owe, we could probably get you off of probation early. Start with paying everything back. That's a good start.
So then Mike says, Dalia said she would help me with some of the money, about $90,000. That's actually not some of the money. That's like almost half of the money.
Right. Yeah. And Mike was super excited. He can't wait to because I think how Dalia was manipulating him, saying this is an investment in us and our relationship, and then we can move forward.
But Dalia saw a real opportunity here, and she gets some attorney to say to Mike, you own your townhouse free and clear. If you turn that title over to Dalia, then she can do money things for you, no problem.
Right.
I don't really understand how that works.
Yeah, he's giving her all the power. And he's not just giving her power, he's getting rid of all the power himself.
He literally signs over his house to Dalia.
He gives her the deed and $100,000 in cash.
And I don't understand why he didn't just give that money to the people he owed it to.
Right, because they say which was part of the debt he owed.
Yeah.
Right, so pay it back to the people you scammed.
I think that this is all Dalia's manipulation. She's just trying to get his shit.
Right, and this is where it all goes downhill, obviously, because Dalia starts actively trying to get Mike in trouble.
So this is the thing. If he gets caught with drugs or anything like that, it's a violation of his probation. He goes right back to prison.
He's going back to prison. So Dalia is planting cocaine on him and calling the cops.
Yes.
Then he'd sob to the cops and they'd let him go. And he says...
I said to her, only when I'm with you. My life isn't this exciting. In 5.5 years on probation, I didn't have one run-in with the police. I'm with this girl 6 months, and the whole police department knows me. I might as well glow fluorescent.
He goes, I was 5.5 years into probation. I was doing great.
And I never met a cop.
And the minute I meet her, every cop in town knows my name.
Yeah.
And there's cocaine that I can't explain. And
but here's my question, Mike. Why do you let that ever happen a second time?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Because
I get it that she owns your house now and she's got all your money.
Yeah.
But why would you ever let that happen a second time?
Because the first time I'm sure he thought, wait, she couldn't have done. I mean, they're about to have a baby. Do you know what I mean? She's pregnant.
Yeah.
Also, no, she wasn't. Because now we learned she was never pregnant, and that was another manipulation tool.
But he did really love her, and he did really trust her.
Yeah. So Dalia, with all the audacity in the world, calls Mike from prison, begging for help.
I know. And she's saying, I need you to get me an attorney. And Mike is because he's a nice guy, I guess he's taking her calls.
She's the cops have it all wrong. I wasn't actually trying to kill you.
No.
Girl, we have it on video.
And he's I will help you get an attorney if you give me my house back. And she goes, I'm not signing anything.
She says no.
She says no.
Dalia.
I I know.
You know what? She's honestly probably thinking, there are men all over this world. I can manipulate each and every one of you. Like, Mike was just her first call.
Yep.
Like, I'm sure she called Muhammad or anyone else.
Totally, because we learned that when she was with Mike, she was with Muhammad at the same time and another guy. Like, she's definitely playing as many people as she possibly can.
So Florida has this law where everything's public.
And because of Florida's strong open records law, her jailhouse phone calls and all the police surveillance tapes made by the Boynton Beach cops would become public. They were out there viral on YouTube.
So all of this footage is online, and Dalia's gone viral.
We meet eventually, when we get to the trial, we meet the lady from the police department who took the video and put it online. And she is unashamed.
I mean,
she is not ashamed.
Because everyone can see. I mean, she's actually boo-hooing. She's just making stereotypical crying sounds when the cops are like, something bad happened to your husband.
Yeah.
Like, no nuance, no subtlety. She's a very bad actress.
But like, everything is online. It's not just the video of her in front of the house. It's all of her interrogation stuff. It's all of the stuff in the cars.
Yeah, it's all of it.
I mean, it's like the Dateline episode is making itself.
Exactly. So Dalia heads to trial. She's accused of, like you said, solicitation to commit murder in the first degree. She's facing up to 30 years, and she pleads not guilty. So Liz Parker, the prosecutor, is like, this is the easiest case I've ever tried in my life. We have the photos, the videos, the audio. I mean, this episode is called The Sting. It was a sting. We got her. We got her. So it's April 2011. The trial starts, and Dalia's been under house arrest for 2 years.
Yeah, so this is it's pretty easy to drag Dalia in court.
I mean, she makes it very easy.
The prosecutor's just saying she was juggling all these other men on the side. She says they all think she's the one, but the only person she cared about was herself.
I mean, we've seen this story a million times.
Exactly.
But she was trying to get 2 of her guys on the side to kill her husband, which means one of them didn't rat her out.
Yes.
There's one guy that I guess was just like, I'm out. I'm going back to my wife or whatever else.
Stayed for the sex and was going to just let it happen. We don't know.
Yeah,
Let's not give that guy the benefit of the doubt.
I'm just saying, oh no, I don't know a hitman.
Exactly. Right.
Oh my God.
Let's just remember Muhammad went to the cops.
Right.
He did a good thing.
But also, Dalia's not smart because she's texting her boyfriends about killing her husband.
And planting
getting
the drugs.
him arrested. The reason we know that the cocaine was planted is because Dalia was bragging to her boyfriends about it.
Yeah.
Because when she realized that planting drugs and getting him put in prison for 30 years wasn't going to work, her next best idea was to have him killed.
But we learned she wasn't only planting the drugs, she was actively the one calling the cops.
Yes.
So she'd plant the drugs, they'd get in the car, they'd go to the restaurant, she'd think, babe, I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah,
and then she would call the cops and be like, my boyfriend has drugs in the car.
Just break up with him.
I know.
You're good at manipulating men, you'll be fine.
Totally.
So then it's what could the defense possibly say? What could they possibly say other than trying to plead it down or something?
But you're not going to believe it.
Dalia's defense attorney, Michael Salnick, said this whole crazy story was in fact all about Dalia's husband's vanity and his thirst for fame. It was Mike who was really behind the faked murder, its mastermind, just so he could be known beyond Boynton Beach. The defense argued it was all a TV pitch, Michael auditioning for his big break.
And so the whole thing was made up and he was actually behind all of the filming of everything.
And the defense is Dalia was in on it too. Yes, she looks like she's acting because she was. Because this is all part of the plan.
I don't know. My whole thing is but also Cops, the TV show was there. So that is also a weird coincidence.
Right. But
it does all feel like the Truman Show. You know what I mean?
But was it part of the pitch to talk to the hitman? Was it part of the pitch to what are you talking about?
Because they do say eventually that her in the car with Muhammad was all choreographed and it was all fake. And
There's
they knew
no proof of this.
There's no proof.
None.
And why would Muhammad then go to the cops?
Because if that was really staged, you would say, okay, we're going. The cops did when the hitman came in. We just did a 3-act play about it. There would be conversation. Muhammad was calling, he didn't call her up and be like, hey, Dalia, are you ready to film the scene where we talk about this?
Right, killing your husband, even though it's not real. Right,
it's so stupid.
Yeah.
So she's sentenced to 20 years. And the judge is like, you're pure evil.
I know.
That's right.
But then after 3 months, the judge allows her to post a $500,000 bond and she's released on house arrest.
Right.
So the same judge who just called her evil was like, but you know what, though, you should be doing your time in the comfort of your mother's house.
Right. So she's out of jail. She's on house arrest again. She appeals. She wants a new trial and she gets it.
She gets it.
So Brian Claypool is her new lawyer. Talk about a thirst for fame.
I know. LA. Here's the thing. He looks like this he is from LA and he looks like a fancy LA lawyer. Where is she getting the money for this?
I don't know.
If you can afford this attorney, why are you trying to have your husband killed?
And for someone from LA, he's all about theater.
I know.
Honestly.
There's a posed photo of him. Did you see that photo?
Yes.
I'm like, it looks like an Annie Leibovitz shot. I'm like, how'd you get someone to take that picture?
So he's saying
the judge in her first trial failed to properly filter jurors for potential bias and exposure to pretrial publicity.
Because the jurors were talking about how guilty she is.
Which is like, if that's really true, I mean, I've only served at a jury once, but they take that shit fucking seriously.
And I agree, like, that is definitely an issue.
Yeah.
But there's also no other opinion to have in this case.
Right.
So I agree, like, on the surface,
Chillian's Law.
that is an issue
Yeah.
to be talking about that. But at the same time, like, are they just talking about it because there's no other opinion to have because we have her?
But it's the whole Scott Peterson thing. Like, if the jury really is poisoned, then you kind of have to start over.
Yeah.
You know?
So 7 years after she was initially charged, Dalia gets a new trial.
Yeah.
And then this is where she exclusively speaks to Dateline. And
This is
Dennis
so
Dennis
wild.
Murphy goes, and oh, what a story she'd tell. I'm like, right out of the Keith playbook.
But like, she doesn't like sit down for the interview the way the Cheesecake Lady did.
He calls her a real housewife. He goes,
Right.
the real housewife of Boynton Beach, better than Bravo. What?
But like, they literally come out of the courtroom where it's determined that she's going to get a new trial or whatever, and like Dateline has the whole setup ready to go. Like, they kind of ambush her.
Right. And Dennis is like, and now the season finale of the Mike and Dalia Dippolito show.
We see her talking, and it just made me hate her more.
She's infuriating.
She's infuriating, and she's just like doubling down. And the way she feels like she's coming off as like she's annoyed to even be asked the questions.
She's always very put off and annoyed, even when her husband wasn't dead yet.
Exactly.
And you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
she was so annoyed that it wasn't happening fast enough. But she's one of those people, and these people are pretty dangerous because she is believing her own bullshit.
Yeah.
And then she's like operating in the world as if that's reality, and she's not in our reality.
No,
she's in her own reality.
This is where she's trying to make she's making the point that she's saying
Everybody is entitled to a police investigation that has integrity. This never really was a credible police investigation. Rather, Dalia Dippolito was used as a pawn by the Boynton Beach Police Department to manufacture good TV for the Cops TV show.
the show Cops was brought in intentionally, and they made up this story to like have an interesting plot line. And I don't know, like, I don't want to believe her.
Right.
But it does seem strange that this, like, you know, famous TV show just happened to be there to capture the most dramatic thing you could ever imagine.
Right. Now she's back on trial, and she's facing 30 years once again. And now the story is that, no.
Dalia's new team road tested a new reality TV defense. That she and her former lover, the informant and a sometime TV extra named Mohammed, had been planning a TV presentation to be posted on social media. Those in-car meetings, she said, weren't about arranging a hit. They were all about that TV presentation.
So they stole the story from the last trial, and now it's, no, Mohammed was planning the TV pitch. And all ththose meetings that you have on tape, it was about the presentation.
Yes.
And I'm like, wait a second. I saw the video. Don't tell me what I saw is not true. Like, the boyfriend ratted her out to the cops. Was that part of the pitch too, Dalia?
Exactly.
What are you saying to me?
And it's kind of like, I don't know, how did we get this far when there's so much evidence of her trying to get her fucking husband? Like, at the end of the day, she gave him money for a gun, agreed to the 2 shots to the head.
Well, that's what the prosecutor does, because they do this whole song and dance about, it was a pitch, the whole razzle-dazzle. And then the prosecutor's just like, can someone press play, please?
I know.
Like, that's really what happens. They're just showing the audio, the video, all the text messages, talking to her other boyfriends about how she wants her husband dead. Like, this is open and shut. So if you want to waste your time with this whole TV pitch idea, go ahead. But we got it.
Yeah, we also learned that this time around, the judge allows testimony that Dalia had once tried to poison her husband.
Yep.
We get this whole story that, like, she was looking for this odorless, tasteless, what do you call that stuff?
Antifreeze,
which, like, I just read another whole story about a woman who killed 3 husbands using antifreeze.
Yeah.
Like, that's wild.
It's wild.
It's, you know what it does? It crystallizes in your system.
Jesus Christ.
Like, the actual, like, and that's how you're able to prove it, because those crystals never go away.
Oh my God.
But, like, that didn't work.
But she's also saying that, like,
She said she was used by the Boynton Beach police.
We're here because they turned what should have been a complaint and getting me help and, questioning me and stuff into this big production for a Cops, TV show Deadline that they had. And they just started manufacturing all of these things and creating these scenarios and putting me in these situations that look horrible.
The Cops used Dalia to make good TV for the show Cops.
Yeah.
Because they were in love with publicity. And what they're trying to argue is that putting it online was all about going viral and that the video never should have been uploaded.
Well, that's when we meet the lady who did the uploading, who is unapologetic.
She's just like, are you kidding?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's her entire testimony.
Any more questions?
Yeah,
Great. Fastest interview Dateline's ever done.
Bitch, I moved to Florida and worked at the police department on purpose because I know you can get that shit online in 5 minutes and nobody can stop you.
Right. And then Dalia's also saying that she was abused by Mike and tried to get help. And then the cops used this and turned this around on her for good press.
Uh-huh.
Like, explain the texts,
Right,
Dalia.
I know.
You're just doing a lot of bullshit to get me to look over here.
Yes.
But I'm looking at a video and I'm reading text messages.
Yes.
So stop. Stop. Like, you're not making any sense.
I know, but it's kind of like, wait, she was sentenced and then got to live at home and then there was what? Like, it's working.
It's working. So it's a fucking mistrial, the second trial. By June 2017, she's on trial for the third time.
Yeah.
And this time, and this is where we learn that she was previously trying to poison him.
Yep.
That she tried to hire different hitmen. And then they're just reading all the texts. Like, here I am framing him for cocaine. Here I am wanting him back in prison and wanting him dead. It's so obvious.
But then Mike also gives his victim impact statement. He goes,
The girl tried killing me probably 3 or 4 times, handed me an iced tea with antifreeze in it, smiled at me.
She handed me an iced tea with antifreeze in it with a smile on her face.
I mean, I'm sure she did.
I know. Can you imagine?
Just break up with him.
You already got his house, girl. You know what I mean? You got his house and his $100,000. But, like, I don't think he has much more than that. I guess the Porsche, but he doesn't own it.
Who cares? So the jury deliberates for 90 minutes and they find her guilty. She gets 16 years.
Yeah.
And Dennis Murphy's so proud of this. He's like, this is how it ends. She's no longer a real housewife, but simply Florida inmate W4222.
Then he says, really?
Really.
But
he's like, yes, really.
I don't get it. What is he reallying me about?
Maybe because there have been 3 trials and maybe because it just took so long for something that was so obviously clear that she was trying to do this.
It's just such you see so clearly how people are able to drag these things out.
Yes.
You know?
Forever. And play the victim the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, the cops were out to get me. And look, the cops are out to get people most of the time. But not when you're on tape, girl.
Sorry, girl.
Sorry, not sorry.
Oh, girl, we did. What was this one called?
The Sting.
The Sting. I mean, so was this highly requested?
Highly requested, like for years.
Oh, my God.
Season 25, episode 13. It's very, very famous.
Fam, join us on the Pates over there on the Patreon. Over 450 full ad-free bonus episodes.
Yep.
We're going to start doing like really fun hang sessions all through the winter.
Yeah.
The drag bingo. I can't wait to teach my cocktail class. Are you going to take it?
I absolutely.
I'm going to
What do we?
Well, the drinks I want to teach how to make. I used to make a really great margarita with like muddled fruit. I want to do that.
Ooh.
I want to do like bourbon cocktails because it's the winter.
Fun. Are you going to have like a mocktail option?
Sure.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of it, but now I definitely will.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put up like a list of ingredients for people to buy if they want to make with you, or you can just hang out and just drink or not or whatever. Yeah. But the drag bingo, there's a RuPaul's Drag Race queen I'm reaching out to see if they'll do the bingo with us. I'm very excited.
Do you know that Mike and I are rewatching? Well, I'm rewatching Drag Race, but Mike is watching it for the first time.
Oh my God.
And he turned to me and he goes, she's definitely the most fishy. As Natalie Grillo says, marry him again.
Marry him again.
And with a note, like not making a joke, like with all like eating like the potato chips, like she's definitely the most fishy. Like,
oh my God, Mike, I love you.
So fun.
What are we doing next?
So it's our final bonus episode of the year.
Oh my goodness.
This one came from you, girl.
Oh, which one?
It's called Dead Man Talking.
Yeah.
This is kind of a newer one. It's season 31, episode 28. This is wild.
It's really wild. I went through a period where I was binge downloading the Dateline podcast, and this one came up, and I listened to it on a flight somewhere, and my jaw was just hanging
You
open.
paid for the Wi-Fi to text me and Natalie to change the calendar. I'm not kidding.
It's true.
That's like basically what happened, and we moved it all around. So we got it. Dead Man Talking.
It's so wild.
Here we go.
All right, fam. We love you. Stay tuned for the trailer for that and our funny and hilarious outtakes. And we love you.
We love you.
And the holly jolly season.
Ooh, yeah.
Tis the season.
Tis the damn season, everyone.
We love you.
We love you. All
right, bye.
Bye.
He seemed very sympathetic and reassuring, like he'll take care of me.
We instantly vibed and we had a very good time.
He said he graduated Harvard.
He was trying to be big in Rhode Island politics. He went from charming to a monster in a heartbeat.
What are you hiding from me? Stop ignoring me!
I wondered if he was going to kill me in that basement.
He's dangerous. Dangerous.
I learned that Nick was being sought by the FBI for fraud.
They found a trail of victims.
He just kind of disappeared. They couldn't find him.
Poof.
Yeah, just poof.
They said, we believe he's faked his own death, that he's in Europe.
He had numerous aliases.
There are a lot of people out there who say that you're not the man you're portraying yourself to be.
Could this wanted man now be living in disguise as this English gent in Scotland?
Did you sexually assault anyone? Did you defraud anyone?
No.
This could be a movie.
This will be a movie, there's no question of it. You couldn't make it up.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I'm like, you go.
Fran Drescher will not stop calling me.
I know. The strike is over, but they want you to vote, girl.
And then of course, but when it's so funny. It says maybe, because, it's like 855. It's like the SAG number. Yeah. Maybe Fran on my phone. And it's like, hey, it's me, Fran. Thanks so much. Like, we're old friends.
Hey, it's me, Fran Drescher.
But it also sounds like a drag queen doing an impression of Fran Drescher.
And that sounded like me doing an impression of a drag queen doing Fran Drescher.
Right.
Hey, it's Fran Drescher, your old friend from The Nanny.
And one of those people's parents is Cookie Monster?
Hello, it's Fran Drescher. I'm Cookie Monster's great-grandmother.
What is...
I don't know what's going on, but I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
It's Fran Drescher.
Is it?
Yeah, okay.